big story as well breaking over the weekend. I think it was 4.5 hours before kickoff in the Champions League final with Arne Slot getting sacked at Liverpool.
Good time to bury bad news.
Were you surprised?
I was surprised because a lot of everything that has been coming out of the club, people I'd spoken to at the club, was that the manager was safe and he was staying. Arne Slot said that in his last few press conferences. He actually was very close, or almost, I think, appointed a coach. That was only in the last week, 10 days. So there's no way the club is sanctioning that, or he's speaking to another coach to bring him in for next season if he thought he wasn't going to be in charge. So I think this is very sudden. I think it's caught everybody off guard, and including Arne Slot.
How much do you think it might have been down to fan power, player power as well, that Liverpool have come to this decision? Because famously, Liverpool don't go against their managers, do they? They back them to the hilt, but there were murmurings, and quite loud murmurings, of discontent towards Arne Slot.
Well, there was no doubt he lost most of the supporters this season, and at times I thought that was a little bit harsh. I must say that, on the back of what had happened 12 months before. So yeah, in terms of, inside the stadium, what you see, supporter bases now have a huge influence online as well, and that had turned really quickly against the manager. When you talk about player power, that kind of helped the situation with Salah, and I'm not happy with that. I don't ever want Liverpool Football Club to become a club where there's player power, or players are speaking out publicly about a manager who won the league, the year before. That's not on. So I don't like that. But of course, that wouldn't help. What manager does it help when your star player comes out publicly criticising the manager? That should never happen, no matter what the circumstances or situation. So all those things put together, they've maybe it's forced the club's hand, but the results of the last 12 months and performances have been really poor. And my fear was, and I said this on Sky, was that Liverpool might have a situation where Manchester United have been in the last few years, where they're not quite sure about a manager in the summer. They end up sticking with them, and then they end up changing it 2 months later. And what you do is then you almost waste the season, because you've got a guy's signings he's made in the summer. A new guy comes in, he said he doesn't want them, and you're almost, as I said, wasting a year. So I was torn on Arne Slot, I must say, in terms of, I think I would have almost backed any decision, really, and I could see both sides of the argument. But as I said, it is a shock. But I think an elite football manager, the absolute creme de la creme, probably finds a way of fixing Liverpool last season at some stage and making it better. But, he wasn't helped with recruitment. You look at those players, have any of them done well? There's only Ekitike who's played well. None of the others have done well. Now, you could put that on the manager. Does he need to get more out of them? Should those players have done more? A lot more, yes. Should the people above him give him a better sort of squad going into this season? Yes. So there's a lot of people to point fingers at where Liverpool were last season. And also the players were there the year before. Complete contrast in their performances.
Just on that Mohamed Salah social media post, it was liked, as we know, quite famously, by several of the Liverpool players. Since he's been sacked, there hasn't been any messages from the Liverpool players so far thanking Arne Slot for his time at Liverpool. Does that disappoint you?
Listen, I don't know what goes on with the dressing room. Listen, I don't know what the manager's like behind the scenes. Maybe they all don't like him. I don't know. I didn't like Mo Salah's post. I said that at the time. I don't think he should come out publicly and speak like that. Who does get on with every manager 24/7? And players have lots of different managers. I was the same, but you don't come out and put things on social media. You don't do it publicly. You don't start putting clapping emojis on it when someone's having a go at your own manager. You don't do that. So that probably tells you a little bit what's going on with the Liverpool dressing room right now and where that's at. And it probably shows it's not as an easy job as some people outside might think. So whoever the new guy coming is he might have to sort that dressing room out.
Just finally, you've mentioned the new guy. The leading contender is Andoni Iraola. Is he ready? Is he a good choice for you?
Well, listen, he's done a brilliant job in the Premier League. What Bournemouth have done is absolutely fantastic, but there are still huge question marks. The way he plays is definitely the way Liverpool want to go back to. High-intensity football, we know he's fantastic at that, but it's not just all about that when you're the Liverpool manager off the ball. And that was a big problem for Arne Slot. That was the thing that really worried me. And I said all season, Liverpool off the ball was so poor. And that's a big part of Liverpool's DNA, not just Jurgen Klopp. The reason we talk about Anfield factor, a lot of it is off the ball, not just on it. So he's fantastic at that. But then actually with the ball and dealing with low blocks, and it's not about getting the ball off the opposition as much, because you're supposed to have probably 60% of the ball. My worry is, can you play at that intensity when you're playing every 3 days? And that was only getting played once a week, wasn't it, with Bournemouth? That is completely different. And I think whenever you're bringing a manager in for a top club in England, you're thinking, can he win me the league? And that's my thing. That's a big question mark around him or any manager coming in. But Liverpool had a manager who's won the league. So that's why I was always torn. As I said, whoever comes in, it's a risk, of course, but Liverpool did have a manager who won the league.